Um,
This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us in workshop 3 of the 4-part workshop series with Greenstep and Fab on creating a sustainability action plan. Tonight, we're going to be going through the steps to turn your sustainability vision from workshop 2 into an action plan in workshop 3, where we can start to achieve some great sustainability progress. My name's Adam Kunis. I'm a sustainable tourism specialist with Greenstep, and I'm going to be one of the main facilitators tonight. And I'll let Christy introduce herself as well.
So my name is Christy Dyer, and I'm the program development specialist, and I will be supporting and helping you with the sustainability assessment tool.
And before we go on, I do want to acknowledge that I'm giving this presentation on the traditional and unceded territory of the Syilx and Okanagan Nation, which is where I live, work, learn, and play, and I'm incredibly grateful to be a part of the community here. So today, we are going to review the sustainability framework and understand how our process and goals and objectives fit into the circular system of continuous improvement for sustainability. We're going to roll through some exercises and best practices for goal setting before we introduce the Sustainability Action Plan Tracker. And with that tracker, we'll go through a quick demonstration before doing an activity together as a group. And then depending on how much time we have, we'll either go more in depth onto that action plan tracker, or we may assign some homework to prepare for workshop 4. So before we begin, I want to get a gauge of the room and people's reason for showing up, how they're feeling today. So we're going to run a quick poll, which is, which of the following pillars is your main drive for sustainability? Socioeconomic, your business, the people and culture, which could be your staff, or the environment, which is that ecosystem and that nature component. So select the pillar that resonates with you most. We have 2 more, and then we'll have 100% completion. Can we get 100%? That would be awesome. 91%.
Okay, I'm going to end the poll.
All right.
And we're going to share the results.
So I'm also bringing it onto my screen. And as you'll see, it's really interesting, really exciting that we have this common passion for the environment and then people and culture. So I'm going to be really excited to see all of the actions that you guys come up with as a group. And I might also throw that challenge to you when you're brainstorming actions of maybe thinking of some of those socioeconomic actions that you can take. But yeah, really laying into your passion and your interests of environment and then people and culture will be a great way to really find these goals and targets that are meaningful, that can drive change for your organization. So going back to our sustainability framework, in workshop 1, we did a lot of learning. In workshop 2, we took the sustainable tourism assessment and created visions for our organizations and communities. And now we're in workshop 3, where we're planning and acting. So after tonight, we'll be over halfway through this framework. And it's a cycle. So once you go through it once, you should be prepared and confident to go through it again. So I'm going to invite you again to please ask any questions in the chat. Christy will be able to answer them. I'll also invite you, if you ever need me to stop, slow down, or clarify, to use the raise hand function in Zoom. You'll click on the little smiley face on the bottom bar, and there'll be a reaction called the reactions where you can raise your hand and ask a question. Ooh. So what are we doing tonight? We're going to create some goals, establish targets, and create an action plan. So let's get started. In workshop 2, we left off with our sustainability visions. It's our dream for what the future will look like, what our organizations can become. And if you weren't in workshop 2, I'd like you for a moment to imagine your organization 20 years in the future. In 20 years, your organization is totally sustainable. In fact, it's so sustainable that all the newspapers are writing about you. And I'd like you to take a moment to think of what they might be saying. And then we're going to keep this vision, this dream in our heads as we go through today's exercises. So this was one of the great ones that we had shared with us at the end of workshop 2. And to make this vision a reality, we're going to need a few things. We're going to need goals, we're going to need targets, and we're going to need a list of actions. So let's clarify these terms a little bit more. What is a goal? This is your area of focus or your objective. So in that last vision of bringing healthy and sustainable food to the community, there's maybe a goal related to water, there may be a goal related to staff, and there may be a goal related to energy. So these are examples of the goal areas. Your targets are your metrics to help you stay on track. This is a way to understand how far you've progressed in your journey and to understand when you've actually completed and met your goal. And then the actions are all the things that you're going to do to achieve your targets, achieve your goals, and make your sustainability vision a reality. And I want to zoom in on targets because targets are one of the most crucial components to achieving your sustainability vision. And we're recommending creating SMART targets. A SMART target is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. I'm going to read through these again because it's very important. A SMART target is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So why is a SMART target so significant? Well, with a lot of sustainability goals and people's ambitions, it can become very vague very quickly, saying that you want to reduce your waste or you want to save water. You can achieve that goal without ever knowing it. So the SMART target is what lets you quantify it. It's saying, I want to not reduce water, but I want to reduce my water consumption by 30% by 2025. So you can calculate how far am I towards my goal? Am I going to reach my goal on time? And in addition to helping you achieve your sustainability visions, your SMART targets combat greenwashing. It shows that you have a plan to track your performance and understand if you're achieving or maybe lagging behind and what can be done to help you get there. So by creating SMART targets, you're creating a level of transparency and trust and strengthening the brand and reputation of your organization, and then also as a community and as a destination. So I'm going to read through SMART targets one more time, and I invite you to unmute your mic and join in with me. All right, so a SMART target is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Thank you for playing along. That made my night. All right, now let's go through some examples. Let's make this a little bit more tangible and ground it in some examples that we've done with other organizations and groups before. So taking that goal area to achieve your vision, in this example, it's energy. And looking at the target, it's smart because you have a very specific target of reducing fuel. It's a very specific component of energy. And then it's measurable. Fuel consumption, you can look at your energy bills, you can look at your receipts, or maybe you have information provided by your utility provider. You have a attainable goal, 30% by 2027. That's very relevant, and it has that 2027 time-bound component. And your actions are all of the steps that you could take to help you achieve that goal. So for reducing fuel consumption, we have collecting and tracking your bills so you can understand your progress. You have an example of replacing your burnt out light bulbs with LEDs, and then weather stripping and caulking. All of these things will help you progress towards achieving your target and your goal. Another example from a different area of sustainability, because as we showed earlier, and as we've gauged the interest of everyone, there's different components of it. for people, one of your targets might be generating awareness. So 100% of staff are trained on sustainability initiatives by 2025. This again meets those SMART components. It's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And those actions, when you frame it in that sense, you can see directly how each one contributes. You have that measurement action. You have an action that makes it more attainable and relevant to your organization. So it is something that can be easy to forget when you're just doing it. So writing it down, and when you're making your goals and targets, we'll have it on the screen, and it can really make the difference in creating meaningful action. And I want to do one more example with ecosystem to demonstrate relevance, because in this action and targets, you have within 12 months, we will collect and develop best practices for the Frontenac Arch ecosystem. And this is on a broad level, but while this is incredibly relevant for the people in your region, if I was creating goals, this would not necessarily be relevant to my region. So when you're creating goals, really be critical of how relevant is this target to what I'm trying to achieve. Does this target get me towards my sustainability vision? And does this help me advance towards the goals and the needs of our community? Any questions so far? All right. So getting ready for the activity, we are going to do 3 components. First, we're going to do some target setting, and we'll recommend goals. Then we'll do some brainstorming to create a list of actions before we do a breakout room discussion where you'll share those actions and use your sustainable tourism score assessment as a guide. So the sustainable tourism score assessment that we did in workshop 2 is a really great guide to help you identify areas that you can improve your performance on sustainability, as well as create actions. So Christy is going to quickly demonstrate on how to pull up your results so they can be used in this assessment.
Okay, so I have used the website that I pasted into the chat to log back onto a sustainable tourism assessment. If you haven't done your sustainable tourism assessment, I will have a sample assessment for you after I close, but this is an excellent way for you to begin. After you've logged into your account, you want to click on reports. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there will be a button that says view report. I've made the text really big here. So there are 2 different mindsets for using your sustainable tourism to create targets. One of them is that you may want to go to an area where you did very well and actually do better there, or you may want to go to an area where you didn't do very well. So I filled this out for an imaginary business, and you'll notice that management was one of my lower areas. It's only at 28%. So if you want to look at the options under management, so that when you came back and took the free sustainable tourism assessment again, you would score more. You would hit the drop-down arrow and then find the letter that involves the item that you're interested in working on. So for instance, here I can see employee engagement. Now I want to know what the questions were that got me a 35% in employee engagement. So to see those questions, you go up to assessment and you say launch assessment. When you hit this button, you don't have to worry. It's not going to overwrite your previous results. Now you can scroll down and see the individual questions that were here. And if you click on the down arrow, it will actually tell you, to show you the various choices that you could have collected for this particular question. So you may find it useful to go to the Sustainable Tourism Assessment and look at the places where you would like to score better and choose your targeted actions under those categories. You're over to you, Adam.
All right. So there's also one moment as I take over the screen share, a sustainability action plan tracker. Now, this is a tool and it's a template. And while you're welcome to use your own approach, pen and paper is always great, but this action plan tracker will allow you to continually to go in and update and change your goals as needed. Are you guys able to see my screen? Perfect.
Yes, I can.
So in tonight's workshop, we're going to focus on these first 3 columns, with those later columns either completed at the end or assigned as homework. So tonight, we're going to focus on the goal areas, creating SMART targets, and then developing a list of actions. So before we go on and start the activity, I want to give everyone a moment to get their results pulled up or look at that sample result if you didn't have an opportunity to take the Sustainable Tourism Assessment, have your copy of the action plan tracker ready, or something to write on and take notes. We will be sharing our actions and our targets as a group, so just being able to write down as you get inspiration from others. Give everyone a few minutes to get that all ready. Oh, Danny, you're sharing the screen. Did you intend to do that?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to get my, I'm in Vancouver. So anyway, that's an email from my husband. Thank you for getting rid of that. How do I make this smaller so I can get onto my Google so I can pull up my greenstep assessment?
Are you on a Mac or are you on a Windows machine?
What? I am Windows. Sorry, Windows.
Okay, so if you look at the top
Yeah.
right-hand corner,
Yeah, where it says
there is
view.
an X, which would close the screen, which you don't want to do. And then there's a box right next to the X. And if you click on the box, it will share your screen with the other item.
Exit full screen.
Yep, X is full screen.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Always happy.
Okay. Oh, I got, okay, perfect.
So criteria for resetting your password. I've forgotten mine.
All good. That's why we're taking 5 minutes to get everyone set. So take your time. We got plenty of time set aside, just so everyone can be comfortable and make sure that you're ready for the activity.
If you've forgotten your password, when you get to that page, down below in light green, it says forgot password. So I'll paste that web page back into the chat. And you should be able to reset your password there as normal.
Yeah, I can reset it. I just don't know what the criteria is for the password. Is it uppercase, lowercase, something?
That is a question I don't know the answer to.
Okay, I'll keep trying.
Okay, I'm in.
All right. We'll give everyone about 1 more minute. Does anyone need more time? All
Adam,
right.
I missed last week's meeting, and so I don't have the Green Step tourism filled out. I can follow along with the sample one that someone's prepared.
Exactly.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah,
And that link is included in the chat. If you open the chat
okay.
box, you can download the document there.
Can I get half of you guys on the screen and then half of my report on the screen?
You can, and you can do
Yes.
that.
View
But-
options at the top.
It doesn't work from the top. If you grab your Zoom meeting screen and you bump it on the left side of the screen, it will take up exactly half the page.
Zoom meeting screen on the left side.
If you grab it and you bump your cursor against, and you bump the window against the left side of the screen, it'll take up exactly half.
Perfect, thank you.
And it should give you an option about what you want to fill the other half with.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the activity now. And in the first 10 minutes of just brainstorming and thinking time, we'd like you to select 3 to 5 goal areas and come up with a target. And we have recommended goal areas of energy, water, and waste. But you'll notice that these are all environmental goals. So we encourage you to choose one of these goals so that when we do breakout rooms, we'll have some common actions that we can either share that we've both had identified as an important action to take, or get some other perspectives on actions to take. But when you're coming up with your targets, make sure that they follow that SMART principles: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So we'll give you about 10 minutes to come up with some goals and some SMART targets, logging them in that action plan tracker. If you're on the PDF version, it will not let you type in the tracker, but on the Excel version, you can type into the tracker. The PDF version is for printout if you prefer to do it on pen and paper. That's the only example area. So the only example area on the sheet is energy, but we do recommend choosing one of the goal areas as energy, water, and waste, and then coming up with your own targets. But you're also welcome to choose goal areas from other components of sustainability, such as maybe your management or your staff. About 5 more minutes, everybody. And then if you've come up with your goal areas and targets, take these last few minutes to make sure that they check each of those components of a SMART target. Is it specific? Is it measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound? All right, and we're coming down to the final minute. If anyone needs additional time, please let us know, and we're happy to give you a little bit more time before moving on to brainstorming actions. But otherwise, we'll be wrapping up in just a moment here and moving on. All right, so now that you have. All right, Cindy, thank you for joining us. Feel free to follow up with us if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to help out with your action plan tracker. All right, but moving on, now that we have our targets, we'll need some actions to achieve these targets. And we really encourage you to think of all the actions that you can. There are no wrong answers, whether they're small actions or large actions. We'll do some action refinement towards the end of the workshop. Another resource that you can really use is that GreenStep Sustainable Tourism Score Assessment. Many of the questions can be reframed as actions, and some of them are actually already action-oriented. So we encourage you to go back to your assessment and find some things that there may be some low-hanging fruit that you can add to your action plan tracker. So when you're brainstorming your list of actions, we're going to encourage you to come up with at least 2 or 3 actions for each target. And if you have more time, you can add more actions. If you're using the Excel sheet, you can always right-click and add an additional row to add more actions, trying to keep those actions organized with their target and under their goal areas. So you'll have about 15 minutes of thinking time before we'll come together and share. All right, just over halfway. Hello, so someone just joined late. Just a quick update as to where we are is we are creating an action plan using the Sustainable Tourism Score Assessment or some of your own personal drives for sustainability to identify goal areas, smart targets, so a target that will allow you to say definitively, yes, I've achieved my goal, or I'm 50% on the way there. That's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And then we're coming up with actions to achieve our goals and our targets. So we're just finishing up the actions portion, and we'll be shortly moving on to the sharing portion. So if you haven't completed your action, your assessment, or have the action plan tracker ready, please go grab a pen and paper and jot down some ideas from other people. But we'll be moving on in just about a minute or so. So, Noelle, the next step is we are going to get into breakout groups and share, and then we'll be capturing people's favorite ideas from the group, from the breakout rooms in the whiteboard, which will be sent out to everyone after, and then we'll also give people time to jot down their favorite ideas from other groups as well. All right, everyone ready to move on? Anyone need more time? All righty, so let's go on to the breakout rooms. Oh, one more person coming in. So in the breakout rooms, it's going to be about 20 minutes of discussion. And I'd like everyone to identify their goal areas and see what was in common with your breakout room. And then share your targets and then the actions that you will take to achieve your sustainability goals and make your sustainability visions a reality. And as everyone's sharing, I'd like you to write down those actions that really inspire you from your peers, and to understand and see if there's a place within your own action plans for those to fit in. And in the final 5 minutes, we'll send a broadcast to each of the breakout rooms to ask you to review and summarize those actions that you wrote down, and then select or designate a representative from your breakout room to share your group's favorite actions to everyone once we come back. So we're going to stop the screen share, go into breakout rooms, and then we'll have some good discussion and be back in about 20 minutes. Where did Christy go?
I don't know. I have disappeared completely.
Come back.
So are you going to join one of those rooms, Adam?
I think I will. How's it going for everyone else so far?
Good. I'm gonna go ahead and join one of the rooms.
And you've got a timer, right, Adam?
Yes. Did we preset the close time?
We did not, because it was not an option.
Ah, okay.
I can set it. I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes.
Sounds good.
Oops.
Keep breakout rooms open. Oh, it's a 1-minute breakout room. Oops.
How did I do that?
And I think those
I do. Yeah, that's me. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I tried to remove the video because right now I got extremely bad signal. So, and I just finished plowing the road, so I'm still, yeah, not done yet.
How are you, Jean Sebastian?
Running a little bit late. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Can you fill me up a little bit what we're doing? I just logged in.
Yeah, so we're just working on the sustainability action plans right now. We've got Christy in from Greenstep,
Yes.
so Christy can fill us in.
Okay, so while you guys were doing your, so what we did is we came up with targets. So a target is something like, I'm going to reduce our eating carbon footprint by 50% by 2028. So that's a target. And then now what we're going to do is brainstorm actions, and everybody pick their own target. So do you, Alberto, you want to tell us what targets are you most interested in? What are you most interested in improving for your business?
I made a bunch. So one is related to energy, and the goal is, or the target is, to be 100%, or our electricity to come from 100% renewable sources by 2025.
That's great. That's fabulous.
And
So do you have action items underneath that?
yeah, so we put up solar panels this year, although they haven't been connected yet. So that's number one. Number two is to monitor the electricity that we are producing and consuming. And then the third one is to keep an eye on that so that we know when to expand the solar system if needed.
Cool. That's very cool. I put down under our action that we're going to give up beef. We're still going to eat chicken, but beef is the huge carbon provider for the planet. So if we give up beef, that's halfway there. Lindsay, do you want to share yours?
So I guess one that we're looking at doing is we get feed for the animals. It's all locally grown, but it comes in feed bags that aren't recyclable. So we're looking at trying to do a bulk order where we can at least have it in a super sack, which I hope is less than, 40 feed bags. There also, we do use some wood shavings, and the ones I like come in a non-recyclable black plastic bag. But there is a company that has come out with a paper recyclable bag, or at least a compostable bag. So we're looking at switching just to try and cut down. We really don't make very much waste, but those coming out of the barn are probably the most waste that we make in our household is.
No, that's great. That would make a huge difference.
Yeah, and we're also looking at our house is under renovation right now, so we've been here for almost 5 years, and we've never had eaves troughs. So once the eaves troughs are up, we do have rain totes that we moved from our other farm, so we're ready to get our rain barrel system back up and running so we can water the garden and do those kind of things with rain capture. So we're eager to get that going, and that's as soon as the workers can get back on the roof and get it done, we'll have that set up.
Yeah, I have a house that I need to put eaves troughs on so that I can insulate the crawl space. I can't insulate the crawl space until the water is actually leaving the area. Alberto, did you have another one you wanted to share?
Sure, related to what Lindsay was saying, the target is to double our water collecting capacity by 2024. And the actions are to install gutters and rain barrels in a couple of new buildings that are hopefully going to be built this year. I'm also thinking of building a couple of like mini ponds in the garden, particularly so that wildlife can have access to water and I don't have to worry about it. And also to collect gray water from our shower.
Cool. And then will you change the kind of soap that you use in the shower to make sure it's good for the gray water?
We already use a homemade soap that doesn't have any harmful chemicals in it. So
wow, I feel like you guys are way ahead of where I am.
Yeah. So
Lindsay, did you have another one you wanted to share?
Yeah, I'm already fully off grid right now. So for me, it's kind of hard to reduce the footprint as much as I am. I'm pretty much fully efficient. I'm already rain catching system. Everything is there. The farm is fully sustainable. We're trying to grow everything for feeding the animal ourselves as much as we can already. Our waste management is pretty much none, actually. Everything is compost and recycle, everything we can. We reuse everything we can, absolutely everything we could. Waste management is pretty much non-existent for us, you know? So
That's great.
kind of hard to go above that point, you know?
Do you
The only
have
thing
other,
is we're giving
do you
class.
have, Jean Enick, do you
Yes.
have, do you educate your visitors?
Yes, we give class about how to become sustainable. We give class how to do rain catching, raising animal, your livestock, how to, you know, providing your own food to be sustainable at that level. We teach people how to produce your own garden, your own food, how the cycle of system it is, how your composting system it is, what is feasible for you to reduce your footprint as most as you can. We're teaching all that, actually.
Wow. And do you get the number of customers that you wish you had, or do you think you could handle more?
That's the work in progress actually on that end. So this year we're doing a educational center we're building. So it should be running for this spring. So we would be able to receive bigger volume of people and small school at the same time, you know. So we're looking into it.
So you must have some issue that's really stubborn. I know that in our household, we have 2 cats and lint rollers are required. And I have yet to find a lint brush that does the same job as the lint roller. So do you guys have issues that are particularly difficult to solve?
On my end, the most difficult thing right now is geographic. So positioning of where I am is hard for customer to find me. Right now, I'm late for doing the Zoom meeting because I was still removing snow out of the road to be accessible right now. So when this meeting is done, I'm still going back outside and keep shoveling stuff, you know? I'm not done yet. So this is the downfall of that part. I cannot go for, let's say, an electrical vehicle because the geographic of where I am, it's not a feasible thing right now. The vehicle is not.
Because you need a 4-wheel
Performance
drive?
of those vehicles cannot. I need a 4-wheel drive. I need a full functional because when you're off grid, you cannot charge. Your solar array that I have right now is not big enough
Also,
to be able to charge a vehicle also.
You could probably charge all summer, but not in autumn and winter and spring where you're not getting enough sun on the panels.
Yeah, the solar array system right now, we're in the dark zone right now. So
yeah,
as soon as mid-February, around Valentine, is we have enough sun ray back, just because we have a lot of snow right now. So therefore the solar panel doesn't work too much. So I'm battery right now. I'm using all the storage energy I have. So I don't want to use it to charge a vehicle at that level because I'm going to drain. Because the size of those battery for the vehicle is the size of battery I have right now for the house that will give me about a week of power for the entire house.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see where you're coming from.
You know what I mean? It give you, those vehicles give you like, let's say 600 kilometers for one day. That's a full week of power for your house right now. That is huge.
I see that Natalie has joined us. Natalie, would you like to share one of your targets with us? Okay. We'll wait. We'll let Natalie come online if she manages to get her microphone off. Lindsay, did you have any hard to remove places other than your feed bags?
So I'm a potter as well, and I fire in an electric kiln. So that is definitely why we have not made attempts to go off grid yet, because it's basically impossible. We did try some propane firings, but eventually I'd like to get to wood firing. And we started to dig a pond this year and came on to some pure clay. So I've been experimenting with firing clay fresh out of the field, and so far it worked. But there's more experimenting to be done because there's a huge carbon footprint in where clay comes from when you buy it commercially, and I do because it's easy and it's cheap. So if I can even have some of my pots be made with clay that I dug up in the field, then that's yeah, that'll be an improvement. But I didn't put it on my action plan because it's a bit of a pipe dream based on the amount of work it is.
Pipe dreams are good. You just give yourself a very long lead, right? You can say we're going to be doing this by 2050 or by 2070.
Yeah.
And it sort of keeps it on your list because technology is changing all the time, right? So they may come up with something that works. Yes, if it was 10 years ago, I would tell Gene Enick that what he needs is a diesel vehicle that runs on food oil, right? Where you go to McDonald's and you take their own oil and you filter it and make it run your diesel vehicle. So those are few and far between these days. Alberto, do you have something that's particularly difficult to do?
Just a note on the biodiesel. We did that for a couple of years with our old car, and the tricky part here in Canada is that in the winter biodiesel solidifies, so you cannot run the car on it. At least not purely. You might need to mix it with diesel. But yeah, another thing that I got the idea from the last session is to offer a 10% discount to people using active transportation or electric vehicles coming to the farm.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I also worry about the carbon footprint that our customers are having because they come here to buy. So that was sort of like a cool idea to incentivize a lower footprint for our customers. So
no, that's an excellent thing to do. I have to leave so I can send a broadcast to the group. But it looks to me like we got all of the farmers in the same group. So I'm sure you guys have other things that you would like to discuss.
Awesome. So we will be joining the main room again in just a couple of minutes. It's right. I think we have the farming group here. I'm looking at, we've got Goat Ridge Farms, right? And then Nature's Apprentice and Barry H Farm with us. And then Natalie Wood is with the Brockville Museum, I believe. Natalie, are you able to turn on your microphone or are you going to be muted with us? You can just use the chat function if you'd like. I know some of, oh, I'm muted. Oh, okay. No worries. I know some of us have tricky internet connections with this, so no worries. We're all rural. Yeah, so for us at FAB, I did this assessment for the Frontenac Arch Biosphere as well for the region. And a lot of what I put in for goals, oh, we now have 5 minutes to finish it. Okay. Pick your favorite one to share with the larger group. Is there anybody here that would like to speak on behalf of this group? I think maybe Alberto, would you mind sharing some of the, and maybe everyone would like to participate a little bit to share maybe their favorite action item that they discussed? Okay, sounds good.
I guess we need to decide which one the favorite is.
Oh, I love them all. I wrote down a bunch. I really liked the idea also, Alberto, that you had about giving the 10% discount to the guests, because I feel like it goes beyond just your business and it starts reaching out to the community as well and gets everybody thinking about that. I thought that was a really good one. There's so many good ideas. And Lindsay, with yours, I feel like you have a lot of very specific, tangible goals. with rain collection and all of and changing the feed bags. I feel like you have very specific goals, so they're super attainable. So maybe we could mention that as well. I know like with us for Fab, a lot of our goals are a little bit more generic because we're widespread and they're not maybe as specific. So I really like the idea of you guys having those specific goals in your plans. Yeah. And then Jean-Sebastian, did you guys get a chance to fill out the action plan? I don't know if I still have you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we did. Yeah, I don't remember the score exactly.
Oh,
But yeah, we fill it up after the last meeting. Yeah, after the last meeting, we kind of did it in one go.
Okay. So, and that I think at the beginning of this meeting, they sent out a new document for us to fill, and it's called a tracker. So that has where you can actually type in your goals and the action plans for them. So I can email that to you as well. And it's also in the main chat. When we go back to the main room, you'll see it in there as well, Jean-Sebastian.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. But yeah, I think there were a few other ones that you had at the beginning as well, Alberto. If you do you mind speaking on behalf of this group?
No, I don't mind.
Okay. And then yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick just one. We have a really good group of strong agritourism, and you are all doing so much already that I feel like you guys could be teaching us about sustainability. So it's hard to pick like a favorite goal. I feel like they're all really strong goals to have. Yeah, so we could just kind of share just a few of what we've been talking about. In terms of us at Fab, a lot of the goals that we have aren't really the same because it's more of we're not a DMO, but in this sense, we're covering this broad region. So our goals are more about how we're tracking it with the stakeholders and things like that. So utilizing newsletters, programs like this, for example, and things like that. So it's a little bit different for us. So we don't have to really go through ours. Is there anything that you wanted to share, Jean-Sebastian or Natalie, in the chat maybe as well about any specific goals or action items that you had before we go into the main room? I think they'll just pull us back in to the main room in a couple of minutes. Oh, I see. Yep. So we've got just a minute left in here. I'm going to take this minute to go and grab a glass of water. If anybody else needs to grab a glass of water or anything, and I'll be right back.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you all had some good discussions in your breakout rooms. So now we're gonna go take some time and do some sharing. So I'm gonna open up a Zoom whiteboard. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Perfect. So what we will do is I'll invite people to either just go ahead and speak, or you can put it in the chat. I'd love to hear your goal area, the target that you created for that goal, and then your favorite action towards that goal, and whether that was your own action or something that you heard from the breakout room discussion. Would love to hear what you guys have to say. Anyone wants to be the guinea pig?
So I'll jump in there and start because I was making my own personal resolutions. I would like to reduce single-use stuff, not just plastic, but other stuff, by 50% by 2024. And one of the actions that I need to look into is that I have 2 cats and we use a lot of lint rollers. So I'm looking for a really good lint brush to replace the lint roller. So I'm sure somebody else has something much more appropriate for businesses.
Did anyone have any waste actions that they came up with or that they heard that they really enjoyed?
Mine focused more on, like, we take a lot of waste actions already, recycling and literally reusing every single item that comes in with my shipped in goods for us to ship out goods and so on. Making gift bags. Mine really focused on the measurement, monitoring, sort of the impact of that. Like, how do I monitor the impact of that? So mine was sort of to figure out like how much we've reduced our waste. We actually have very little. It's quite surprising. But so my goal is mostly focused on management of my current actions and how to assess and report and measure.
And was there anything specific from management? Like I would love to hear your target and then some of those actions.
So, well, this is sort of a different target, but a different goal. So one of my major ones was staff education. So that was to fully educate my staff on the current initiative that we're working on with GreenStep and implementing staff guidelines for recycling, reusing, conservation of supplies, and waste management. And so it's almost like, you know, my store manager, I'm going to have to, and that it's on me to create the documentation and links to resources for my staff that they're then going to have to fill out. You know, like my store manager, I might like her to document what weeks we're actually putting, you know, black garbage bag garbage out. We try to keep it to 1 bag every 3 weeks. So it's me creating a tracking tool for then to educate my staff on, you know, these are our goals, and fill this spreadsheet out every week or whatever it is. I'm just calling it a spreadsheet, you know, to actually complete the tracking tasks for in-store stuff. I don't know if that really answered the question, but
yeah, that's great. And I kind of want to build on to this monitoring waste that you talked about briefly. So 2 potential actions that could come out of that. One would be doing a waste audit where you actually go through and you take, maybe it's after a busy season or you had a holiday and a lot of guests, and you actually take the time to go through that waste and see how much of our recyclables actually ended up in the recycling and what was the level of contamination. So when you're doing that monitoring, it might mean like taking that trash bag or your recycling bin and dumping it out and saying, is this working as intended? Another really good waste monitoring exercise is to right size your bins. So one way to do this is it takes about a month or so or several months to do this exercise. And it's right when you put out your trash, whether that's the night before or the morning before pickup, you note, how full is my bin? Is it halfway full? Is it 75% full? Is it over full? Is it overflowing? And if it's less than, 80, 90% full, you can reduce the number of pickups your organization needs, which will save on carbon footprint, because that trash can or that trash collector doesn't have to come around as much, which in the
Right.
process saves your organization money. So the right sizing of your bins can be a great opportunity for an action.
Stuff down here. Yes. I actually have on the iPad a pop-up on garbage day saying, only put the garbage out if it's full.
Right. So if the collection agency doesn't need to come around as often, and other people in your community in that shared building are the same way, that's a great opportunity to reduce costs and save money and waste. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. Was anyone have any other actions that they were really excited about? I see the chat's been going off.
Okay, so Adam, why don't I read some from the chat?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Christy.
So one goal area would be guests, and they would like to give them 10% off for showing up to an electric vehicle or some other kinds of transportation, like a bicycle.
That's a great idea for an action. Guest education saves energy. That's that scope 3 emissions. That's awesome. Or shared transport. I love that. Great idea, Noelle.
Yeah.
So I had the farms in my breakout group, which was awesome. And most of them are working on reusing rainwater for watering plants and also capturing gray water.
That's awesome. It's kind of like a management waste combined, all three. I love it.
So another one in the chat, Lindsay from Goat Ridge Farm is trying to replace feed bags with bags that can be recycled. It looks like she's also doing some reuse as well, but there are too many of them.
That's interesting. Yeah. The building a new learning center to educate more people about sustainability. I like that. That kind of also falls into ghost education and management. And that one kind of falls both on that internal communication, right? Your staff, that management component of education, but also towards the guest. Sustainability is new for everyone. It's something that not many people have a lot of experience with, and that's both internally and externally with the guests and visitors to your communities. So it's definitely a team effort, learning from other people who bring their ideas in, and then sharing what you have to offer from your community, because those tourists and visitors will take those ideas back to their own communities, which is kind of the magic of the tourism industry. All right. Anyone have any other ideas to round out these last couple of management and guest education?
I think that's everything from the chat.
Thank you, Christy. I know one of the ones that came out from our group was with nonprofits is engaging with people who are willing to volunteer their time to help with tracking and monitoring. So that management component, actually, that might be more of a guest, and maybe guest turns into community education. And, leveraging volunteers and people who want to help and doing that community outreach.
So we have another one, which is goal area for staff. And the idea is to add time at the end of the staff meetings to celebrate staff's efforts and sustainability successes and wins.
I love that. Oops. I want to put that under management to celebrate those wins. All right. So I'm going to clean this up, but I will export that as a PDF for now. We'll clean it up, make it all pretty, and get all those actions organized. Thank you everyone for contributing and sharing. And I think we've come up with some really good actions. If these aren't already a part of your action plan tracker, consider how they may fit into your targets, into your goals. And we'll be sending this out because, you know, we just had a little bit of time tonight to touch on them, but this action plan tracker is a living, growing document. So we encourage you to continually use it and go back to it. So I'm going to go back to the presentation now. One moment. All right. So thank you everyone for sharing. And the next step and those final columns of the action plan tracker are for prioritization and accountability. And I know in my group, people came up with actions that could get done tomorrow to actions that may take many, many, many years. So as part of the prioritization, we're going to go through and look at notes. We'll leave this to be completed as homework on your own time, but we really encourage you to categorize them as short-term, medium, or long-term. When is this action going to get done? Because now that we've created the actions, we need to become accountable to ourselves or to someone in our organization to make sure that actually happens. So filling out that time frame of when it's going to get done will get you there that much closer to actually completing that action. And with that, we really encourage using a tag such as not started, it's in planning, it's in progress, or maybe you've completed that action already. Or when you return to your action plan tracker 6 months down the line and you mark that as complete. You know, for me, checking the box off is a very satisfying feeling. And it really gets me excited for the next steps that I can take. Another part of this action plan prioritization and accountability sheet is determining who will lead the action. And the action leader isn't necessarily the only person who will be involved in that project, but it's the person who can be the point of contact or someone who's an expert in that area who can be referred back to. So if you're an organization with multiple employees, it is likely that someone from your organization is either really passionate or really interested in one of the actions that you've outlined tonight. So maybe they can be the leader for that action and they can be the one taking charge. And then as far as a budget, this is another item that could be come back to in, you know, the short, medium, or long term. It could start off as simple as, yes, there is a budget, or no, there is not a budget, to high, medium, low budget, or as you get further into that planning stage, the actual budget and allocated amount of money. Going all the way back to the beginning in that first column, the notes section, we really encourage you to take notes on your actions to capture the progress that has been made. And this is important as far as being able to show how far along you are on your SMART target. So with that note, it could be as simple as a link to a blog or a link to some instructions that provides guidance on how to achieve your action, or a link to some best practices or other examples. It could also be, as you hold meetings, capturing those ideas and those comments and that feedback from the action leader on what needs to happen to advance that action and achieve that target. And what I've done before with my action plan tracker is when I revisit it, I do a new column for each month. and make new notes every time that I revisit my action plan. And it's a great way for me to not only see where I've been and where I'm going, but to also celebrate the successes that I've made along the way. So it helps keep you prioritized and accountable, making sure you achieve those actions that need to get done quick, or those low-hanging fruit actions, and then having that accountability to either yourself or your team to get it done. So in preparation for workshop 4, I would like you guys to take some time to digest and review your action plan trackers from today, and then choose a few of those actions that you're really passionate about and want to take the charge and get them done in the short term or within your first year, completing those prioritization exercises of adding notes, finding a resource that will help you get there, doing the short-term, medium-term, long-term one that's going to get done, and then filling that worksheet out more. And we're going to use those in workshop 4. So in workshop 4, we're going to celebrate your accomplishments. We're going to work on drafting and creating a sustainability story around those actions. And we're going to talk about those next steps of how to re-engage with the sustainability framework and follow through on this process of continuous improvement. So we've come a really, really long way, and I'm excited and hope everyone has a sustainability action plan that they will be able to make some meaningful impacts in their community. So thank you so much, everyone. I want to give a few minutes of time to Daniel from Fab to share a few words as well. But if you have any questions, we're going to be around for a bit longer, and we're happy to answer anything. Feel free to email us if you have any questions down the line about the action plan tracker or your sustainable tourism score assessment. And thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Adam, and thank you everyone for joining us today. As you guys know, I'm the marketing coordinator at FABN, and I've been working over the past few months on a few campaigns, marketing campaigns, and so far they're going great. But one of the last portions of one of the campaigns that I created, I do need a little bit of your help. So I wanted to share something with you guys. Give me 1 second. So this is a social media campaign that I would like. It's not a mandatory, but it would really help us out if you guys take part in this. And what I'm gonna be doing is, once we finish the webinars, I'm gonna be sending you guys an email with a little bit more of any information as to what this entails, but just giving you guys a heads up. What I had planned was I created a badge for every business that registered, and I'm going to be sending you guys an email. And what you guys are going to see in the email is pretty much a list of all the businesses that are registered. I would like you guys to find your business in this list, and here you're going to have access to a badge that I created that pretty much says Travel Proud, which is the name of the campaign that we have running. And then your logo is going to be inside this little badge. If you guys would like to help us out, you can, for maybe a week or as long as you guys would like, set this as one of your profile picture on your social media channels, Facebook or Instagram. And I also created a few posts, social media posts, that you guys can share as well. So pretty much saying we're proud of the service we offer, and we're proud of the FAB region that we call home. And the idea is for you guys to share a picture of the logo with the badge, and then a little bit of these squares as a carousel on Instagram, as well as on your stories on your Instagram channels as well. So just this will work, and then as well tag us on those posts. You're gonna see a README file with pretty much instructions and explaining you what all of this is about. The idea is to have everyone, if possible, share this on your social medias, and this is not only gonna help us, but also gonna help you guys by also kind of like kickstarting the algorithm of social media channels and spreading the word about the program and about the region and what we're doing. And yeah, that's pretty much what I was trying to share with you guys. So if you guys have any questions, please do ask. But I wanted to give you guys a heads up. You're gonna receive an email from me explaining all of this again. Yeah. Anyone has any questions? No?
I just wanted to say I love this idea, Daniel. I think it's super cool. And it looks like you spent a lot of time putting everybody's logos into this badge to make it super user friendly for everybody. So I super appreciate that. It looks like a lot of work went into this. And I think it would be really great if it's kind of also a celebration for all of us who have been participating in this to be able to share that afterwards, like you said, for a week or however long we want to make that our profile picture, to kind of share that we participated in this sustainability training. And I think it's great.
Yeah, and you guys might be able to see a few of our ads going on Google or Facebook. And pretty much the idea that I had behind these marketing campaigns was it's called Travel Proud, because I wanted to highlight the pride of living in the biosphere and being part of the community, and pretty much inspire other people to feel proud of being part of this as well. So yeah.
This actually works perfectly. I have, just after Valentine's Day, a whole bunch of social media promotion going on around what my store does for sustainability in terms of the education part of one of my goals, one of my actions. And so I will feed this right into that. So I think it's fantastic.
Thank you so much. So before the last webinar, you guys are going to receive an email from me, like I said, explaining all of this all over again. And if you have any questions, please do reach out, and I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Thanks so much, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel. That seems like an amazing marketing opportunity and a really cool way to celebrate the sustainability progress and achievements of the group.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So does anyone have any questions about what we covered tonight or what some of the next steps could be? If not, thank you so much for attending and joining tonight. Well, it was great. Thank you for the participation and the interaction. And yeah, very excited to see where your action plans go as they grow and become more in depth. And feel free to email myself or Christy or GreenStep if you ever have questions or want some guidance on creating those action plans. And we look forward. Oh,
wait just a second, and I'm going to give you the link to the survey.
yes, we would also appreciate feedback. Always trying to improve these workshops. So taking, I think it's like 5, maybe 6 quick questions. Really appreciate it, so we can always be improving.
And you can go directly from where you are to the survey, and you can take it now, and it will take 2 minutes.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you again to everyone who showed up tonight. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all on February 15th. Look out for our emails. We'll be following up with links and information and everything that you guys need. And we'll see you guys at the next one. Thanks so much, Adam and Christy.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.